I certainly think that what teenagers want from their parents is that their parents don't make the subject taboo. I think they do want their parents to talk to them about sex. And yet, at another level, the worst thing imaginable for any teenager is to even think of their parents as sexual beings. And the worst thing for parents is to think of their teenagers as sexual beings. So that's one of the things that makes it extraordinarily difficult in the first place. Yet each does want to talk to the other about sex. So it's how do you go about it? And I think what teenagers primarily will say is, I don't want them to hand me a little book of medical terms to read. I don't want them to struggle through the basics that I already know. I want them to really try and tune in with where I'm at, what's important to me, to be comfortable about it, and also to have the respect of asking them what they know, asking them what the issues are for them. That's really important to them.
I think children at different ages probably need to know about sex to some degree or other, but they don't need to know the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. It's easier to talk to children as they're growing up, according as they raise questions, according as things come up. The dogs have puppies, a new child is born into the family, somebody gets pregnant, or this is the scene on television that perplexes them. They have questions, they're curious. It's okay to hear those questions and answer those questions, rather than save it all up till they're 14 or 15 and then tell them the whole truth at one sitting, as though you only had one shot at the title and this was it, so get it right. That puts pressure on everybody. So I think you can never start too young, but the skill is being able to understand what they're needing to hear and ready to hear at any particular age. And that's not something anybody can tell you. That's something you, as their parent, know. Not me, not anybody else. And you've got to trust that you know these children and trust that you're probably able to just give them what they need to hear at any point.
They really need to know what our views are, what our values are, what we think about it. They need the guidelines. You wouldn't let them out in the street and say, listen, I'm a bit embarrassed to tell you about cars coming down the road, so we won't tell you that. You tell them, look, you're going to have to cross the road, but there are dangers in it. You've got to look to your right, you've got to look to your left, you've got to decide sometimes that I need to go to a pedestrian crossing. It's the same about sex. It's about not letting them out there uninformed and not letting them out there without having some idea of what the parameters are.